This podcast may contain paid advertisements, but more on that later. Welcome to the O'Connor Bootstrap podcast, where I discuss the nuts and bolts of business and leadership, with a focus on bootstrapping a business from the ground up. This podcast is for all entrepreneurs, bootstrappers, and leaders in all walks of life. My goal is to help you grow both personally and professionally. I am your host, Isaiah O'Connor. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Audible.com is my favorite place to get audiobooks, and audiobooks are my favorite way to consume literature. I do not have time to sit down and read like I used to, but I have Audible so I can listen on my way to my job. I can listen while cleaning the dishes, wherever. Matter of fact, it's this ability to listen wherever which brought you the podcast in the first place. I listened to the book, 48 Days to the Work You Love, while working at a dead-end job, cutting up vegetables for a restaurant as a prep cook, or as a cook, I should say. And listening to that caused me to start my own company, which caused me to start this podcast. And there you go. Audible.com is not just sponsoring, but brought you this podcast. And the book I recommend for today is The Go-Giver by Bob Burg and John David Mann. It's an amazing book. If you go back a couple of episodes back, I got to interview Bob Burg, the author, which is leading to the following podcast where I talk about one of the laws found in the book. Now we're going to jump back real quick we're going to jump into that book here in a moment. But if you want a free copy of The Go-Giver by Bob Burg and John David Mann, you can go to audible.com/bootstrap with a capital B. That's audible.com/bootstrap with a capital B. You get a free trial of one audiobook, 2 Audible originals, and access to their entire listening library, their streaming library, for 30 days, after which is only $14.95 a month. It's well worth it. I have over 100 books, and I have one friend I told about Audible, and he's got even more than I do. So it really is worth it. They're amazing. And by the way, the customer service is second to none. Very, very high class operation. And that's an important point, which I'll get into in a moment. Let's jump into The Go-Giver, which you can get over on audible.com/bootstrap with capital B. And you get to keep that forever, even after your 30-day trial is over. You keep your Audible original and you keep your book that you get forever. It's yours. Anyway, let's get into this. So today we're going to talk about the law of stratospheric success as laid out by Bob Burg and John David Mann in The Go-Giver. And the second law is the law of compensation, which is your income is determined by how many people you serve and how well you serve them. Pretty basic idea. The better you are at serving people, the higher quality of service, the more people feel valued, the more they feel like you've helped them with your product or service, the more they'll pay for your product or service, and the more you will have a higher income. So the more people you serve, the more value you bring them, the better you'll do. Pretty straightforward. And let's look at some examples. You can have the best service in the world. You can be the world's best mechanic, take really good care of your customers, really good clients. But if you're only getting one person a weekend, you're not going to survive very well. Matter of fact, I've listened to Dave Ramsey podcast and I heard about a guy who was like that. Great mechanic, horrible marketing, could not figure out how to reach a lot of people with his service and was really struggling financially. So you can have the service and great, but not reach a lot of people and still not do great. So you have to have the great service and reach a lot of people. So you have to get good at marketing. You have to be good at sales. But when you approach marketing, approach it as I'm trying to get people to serve. I'm trying to serve more and more people. Matter of fact, in the book, Thou Shalt Prosper, 10 Commandments of Creating Wealth, I do believe that's the full title, by Rabbi Daniel Lepin, he talks about the same thing where we need people to serve, and the more people you serve, the more profit you make. But it's serving other people and being served. He talks about bread and how you go to the store and you buy some bread. Well, someone else made the bread, someone else grew the wheat, someone else got all the other ingredients together. Multiple people worked to make that one loaf of bread for you. You've been served by a lot of people, and you can go turn around and serve a lot of people by what you do. So, being in business, you can serve a lot of people. And the more people you serve with a heart of serving them, not making money, but serving them, the trick is really caring about serving them and taking care of their needs. The more your income will grow, which will allow you to serve even more people. So the more you serve people, the higher your income is, the more people you'll be able to serve. It becomes a flywheel, a self-feeding process here. But it's, again, a heart issue that you're really willing to serve and be a giver. Now, that comes into that law of authenticity, which Rabbi Lepin also talks about. But we're going to come back to that later on in the week or down the road here. But here's an example. My wife and I were moving from Lake Tahoe, California, which is borders Carson City, Nevada, pretty close to it. And we were moving from Lake Tahoe to Denver, Colorado. And on the way down, we had to travel through Carson City. We were talking and we realized that we hadn't had our tires rotated and we needed to have them rotated, especially before we took an 18-hour drive with all our stuff loaded in the car because we were moving. We didn't have a lot of money. We had some savings for the move. It wasn't much. It was like $800 or $1,000. Not a lot, just enough to get started. And so we were getting ready to go, and we realized, oh crap, we need to do this. Rotate the tires. There's a tire store there. Let's go in there. This tire store is Les Schwab Tires, by the way. They're in Lake Tahoe. They're in Carson City. It's a small chain. If you're in their area, go check them out. As long as I haven't changed in the last 10 years since I've been there, they're amazing. But what happened was this. We show up there. We pulled up. We went in. We said, hey, we're leaving on a big journey. We need our tires rotated. Can you guys take a look and do that? And they go, sure. We can do that, no problem. And they, can I see your keys? Like, sure. Sure. All of a sudden, they took our keys and they disappeared. They came back like 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later. Not long at all. It was very quick. We barely sat down and got a drink, and they were done. They came back and here's your keys. Like, what? You're done? Yeah, we're done already. Yeah. It's really easy. We just popped up, switch the tires, no problem. And then here's the kicker. So they were friendly. They were quick. They were so quick we barely could even get our seats warm. And they came back, and we said, "Okay, how much do we owe you?" And they said, "Nothing." Okay. Oh no, we just did to take care of you, and you have a great trip. Be safe on the road, and if you come back, see you later. Now we didn't buy the tires from them in the first place. We were never a customer before. We had never even really heard of it. I'm sure we saw them driving by. Just you see tons of stores that if you have no interest in, you don't remember what they are. We had no relationship with these guys beforehand, so this was not like, oh, a returning customer thing, or you bought the tires from us in the first place, so you get free rotation. None of that. They just did it to bless us, to serve us, to take good care of us. And now here I am, 10 years later, plus this happened. We moved to Norway 10 years ago. So this happened like something like 15 years ago or something along those lines, 16 years ago. I'm still talking about it to my listeners because they provided such a high level of service that I've never forgotten that. And we went back and we did move back to Tahoe and we did use them for our tires every single time. Anything to do with our brakes, wheels, tires, any of that, we went to them. We told my mom, we told my friends, we told my family. They all went there. and they were blessed, and they were provided with excellent service no matter where we went. So I'm betting they were doing pretty good. That's the type of service, and it's a giving service. It's providing a service because you want to bless people, not just to make money. And they got some money. They did make some money off of us. So yeah, the more people you can serve, the more money you make. Pretty simple. The more of your product goes out, the more people pay for your product, the more you get. Same idea. But it's the concept of a servant's heart. And that really blesses people. And that's where the best customer service comes. All that good jazz. It's all from that. Anyway, I got to run. This is a little bit shorter now. I actually recorded a much longer version of this one. And then I realized that my mic was unplugged the entire time, and it was just off my computer speaker mic, which is really my computer mic, which was absolutely horrific. Anyway, talk to you later. I will see you on Thursday. Bye-bye. If you found value in this content, please leave a comment and give us a 5-star rating on whichever podcast platform you use. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and most other podcast platforms. If you would like to support us, you can check out our sponsor links, or if you would like to directly support the show, you can donate or join our membership program at buymeacoffee.com/bootstrap. Of course, it really helps when you share these podcasts as well. If you would like to interact with me and other bootstrappers and leaders, you can join our O'Connor Bootstrap Podcast Facebook group. You have been listening to the O'Connor Bootstrap Podcast and Atheoz Business Solutions Podcast. For our companion podcast, the Atheoz Business Podcast, hosted by Jason St. Clair, past episodes, and related blogs, check out our website at www.atheoz.com, which is www.atheoz.com, or theoz.com. Until next time, I've been your friendly neighborhood entrepreneur, Isaiah O'Connor.